Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Roy's Tie-Dye Sci-Fi Corner. This is episode number 294, Creepshow, a classic 1982 film by Stephen King and director George A. Romero. And with me tonight to discuss this classic is my friend and my co-host, the one and only Mr. Ross Amico. This is where I should really put the lights on, Ross. And go. I'm not amused, number one. Hey, Ross.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm all right. Yourself?
You seem a little subdued tonight, Ross.
I was cramming for Creepshow.
Don't you like the light effect in the back as I'm screaming?
Yes. What time is it anyway?
Well, it's not 9 o'clock yet, Ross. We're just
good night,
getting
everybody.
Oh boy, this is going to be a good one. Anyway, folks, thanks for joining us tonight. We appreciate it. And it is March 6th of 2026. And before I get started, I know he's not out there tonight, but I'm going to do it on the air. And I'm just going to say a very, very, very happy 60th birthday to my old and one of my dearest friends, and also your cousin, Joe Metz.
Wow.
Or I'm sorry, Joseph R. Metz, I should say.
Yeah. See, anyway, I don't even know my own cousin's birthday.
Well, he is 60 today. And just wishing you a very, very happy birthday, Joe. So, in fact, truth be told, Joe and I have this thing where we've been doing this since we were like 14 years old, where we'll call him up and say, hey, how's it going? And how can it be that you're whatever age? And we've been doing this for like the last like freaking 46 years or whatever. It's just crazy.
It never gets old.
And it never gets old, just us.
It works better for us because we're only a couple of weeks apart.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, happy birthday, Joe. And another factoid just to throw out there, which I wish I had a slide for it, but I don't. You know how we were doing, and then we kind of got away from it, but we would do That's the Way It Was with Walter Cronkite. Actually, 45 years ago today, back in 1981, March 6th, was his final broadcast on the CBS News, Evening News.
Good God. That was Walter Cronkite retired after that?
Yeah.
Long ago?
It was that long ago.
Oh,
isn't that crazy? I know.
That is incredibly crazy.
And I remember that like it was yesterday. So.
45 years ago?
Yeah. That was 45 years ago.
It's over.
It's kind of creepy, isn't it, Ross? Yeah. Anyway, I want to say hi to the folks that are joining us out there. We really appreciate you. And I'm sorry for the delay. I was having some tech issues. In fact, I couldn't get the internet to connect. So anyway, I got over that hump, I'll say. And first on the list is Shari. Shari's out there. Hi, hun. She's saying, hey, guys, I want my cake. And the Hague is also out there joining us from Pennsylvania. He's saying, is anybody out there? Is anybody home? And hey, Mark Anthony Craig is out there. Mark, thank you for joining us. Mark is joining us in the UK, and he's saying, hi, I'm here. I was just phone scrolling. I'm in bed. It's 18 minutes past midnight here in the UK. Thanks for joining, Mark. We appreciate it. And got a chance to wish you a happy birthday last week, but I'll do it on the air. Happy birthday a week later. So hope you had a great day, and happy birthday to you.
And sweet dreams.
Yeah, and May is joining us from Canada. Welcome, May. Good to see you out there. And Lou is joining us from Rhode Island. Hey, Lou.
Hamish Binks.
What was that?
Hamish Binks.
Yes. And there's a third film in the making. It's in the works. Jeff Rubel is joining us from Utah, and he's saying evening creeps. Brennan is joining us from Massachusetts. Welcome, Brennan. Great to see you out there as well. And Paul is out there. Hey, Paul. He's saying it's the most fun I've ever had being drunk.
No comment.
That's what I thought.
I watched it with Paul.
And Taylor Makes 2207 is out there. Welcome. Thanks for joining us tonight and saying cool.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Rubel said Ross's real favorite film. Hey again, Paul. And Brendan said we should have done this on Father's Day. There you go. That's okay.
Could have.
You know what the problem is, Brennan? Well, you know what? This film we could have done on Father's Day, but then there's a whole list of other films that I suggest. And then what happens, Ross will say, we should do this on the 4th of July. We should do this on Thanksgiving. We should do this in Halloween. We should do this for Christmas.
Yeah, well, I mean, if I had thought of it, I would have said Father's Day for this, but then you would have done it with Ryan. So maybe that's why I would have said Father's Day.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Randy's joining us from Wisconsin. Hey, Randy. He's saying happy creepy evening. Jack Daly's out there. Hey, Jack. He's saying evening all. Yes, time is flying. Hey, and Bruce is out there. Welcome, Bruce. He's joining us from Canada, saying good evening to us. Welcome, Bruce. And I think I accounted for everybody. It's great to see everybody out there. And we are into the first full weekend of March here in the East Coast. Anyway, we are going to be having daylight savings time, and we will be turning the clocks back 1 hour. Actually, no, I'm sorry.
No, you go forward, you lose the hour.
1 hour forward, we're losing an hour. Spring ahead and fall back. Yeah.
So it's 1 more hour of your youth.
Yep.
Gone. And you won't get it back in the fall because you'll be 60.
It'll be too late, Ross.
It'll be too late.
But we will have an extra hour of daylight in the evening. So I am really, really looking forward to that. So anyway.
Yeah, that'd be great in August.
Yeah, it will be.
In July.
Anyhow.
Somebody turn off the sun. Yeah.
Bruce just said, Bruce is saying British Columbia goes onto permanent daylight savings time this weekend. Bruce, I heard about that. That is very cool.
They wanted to do that here, but it makes no sense. Why wouldn't they go back to standard time and make it permanent? You're going to have the kids standing at the bus stop in the dark at 10 a.m.
You know what? I think it works. I wish it was permanent here. That's my vote.
Standard needs to be permanent.
Yeah.
So not daylight saving.
Well, no, I think British. Yeah, it's going to be permanent because they're going to turn the clocks forward an hour, and then it'll be permanent.
No, they should turn it back.
I don't agree.
And then make it permanent. I'm moving to Arizona.
We can disagree to disagree, Ross.
Isn't it Arizona that refuses to change the clocks?
I think so.
Yeah.
Randy said we should switch to star dates. Yeah, I think that would take care of everything.
Switch to star dates. I'm so confused.
Captain's log, star date 1312.4. The impossible has happened. Oh, I'm sorry. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, so let's get talking about Creepshow. Ross,
what?
The question I always ask you, but I will ask you anyway.
All right.
Did you see this in the theater?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I did, because I saw everything in 1982 in the theater. How about you?
I did see it in the theater. I don't remember. I think I saw this with Joe. And as a matter of fact, because I was talking to him about this movie just a couple of days ago. Whoops. And I was telling him that we were going to be doing the show and everything, and then he started laughing when I mentioned it. So yeah,
I think I saw it with my parents. It was one of those last minute inspirations where my stepfather said after dinner, "It's like, who wants to go see Creepshow? It's showing at the Budco. It's showing over at 25th Street. Let's go."
The Budco.
So we did. We went over on a weeknight and watched Creepshow.
Nice.
Yeah, I was into it. I was into everything back then, though.
Yeah. No, this was a dark movie, but it was a fun dark movie, and it's kind of funny because it's like each story, and I'm just gonna put this out there because I don't want Ross to twitch. Disclaimer, folks, this is your opportunity to turn us off if you don't want a spoiler. If not, I have warned you, so that way throughout the discussion, Ross will be like, "Don't say it." I'm just covering this for a 44-year-old movie.
Right.
Now that
So
we're
we
covered,
yeah.
and
Right.
then and our numbers have plummeted, Ross. I will.
You're going to get sued by these snowflakes.
With that said, what I thought was really interesting is with every one of these stories, it was always like this dark ending, and it never failed. There was no happy ending with this movie.
Well, I was a very sensitive kid, as I always say, and I was scared to go see horror movies. I was scared to go see Excalibur. I've said this many times because I was afraid there'll be arm loppings and things. It had an R rating, and yeah, there were some arm loppings, but I toughed it out, and I love the movie. But but this one, I don't know. I just thought because it was going to be a kind of a tongue-in-cheek homage to the old EC horror comics, that I would give it a shot. And I was surprised by just how far it went in some of the segments, because it's kind of gradual. It builds, you have kind of like campy, macabre fun at the beginning, and then you get some genuine, shocking gore effects later in the movie. It's like, oh, that went a little further than I expected.
Very well said.
So it mixed humor, but very mordant, very like a kind of a dark, as you say, comic, tongue-in-cheek approach. Yeah. But then it had horror also, which apparently there was. From what I read of these reviews, I remember Gene and Roger liked it. You know what I mean? Some of these mainstream critics liked it, but there were others that I guess the genre fans reacted. They didn't like the fact that the humor was in there, and that's the whole point, though.
Right.
I mean, it was supposed to be tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
They just didn't get it. So.
Yeah, I mean, it was deliberately made that way, but that to me, I mean, back then, I mean, when this came out in 82, what were we, like 16? We were probably like 15, 16 years old when this came out. Yeah, because this came out in November of 1982, so it was like right before Thanksgiving. So
that's right. It was right after Season of the Witch, right?
Yes, and they did that on purpose, and it was a smart move.
Yeah,
because they figured Season of the Witch, which was the third. I think that was Halloween 3, right?
Yeah, it was horrible.
I loathe that. Let me tell you something, folks. We will never discuss Halloween 3 on this show.
Never say never, Roy.
I know we're down to like the crumbs as far as discussion.
We only have 3 movies left, Roy.
Roy, we've done over 1,000 episodes. We got to do it. No. You know what? Instead of it being the 666th episode, it'll be the 999th episode. We'll save the worst before we hit 1,000.
Well, Tom Atkins, who was in Halloween 3, was in the prologue.
Yes.
The rap, the framing sequence in this movie. Yeah.
Do you want to laugh, Ross? He's 90 years old. I was looking him up, and I was like, because he's been in everything. I mean, he's he always pops up as character actor in just about everything. And I was like,
a lot of genre stuff.
How old is he? Yeah, and he's going to be turning 90. And I was like, wow, that's insane.
Yeah.
Oh, look at The Hague. Here we go. The Hague. Oh my God, the best Halloween movie without Michael Myers.
Hey, let's try something different. Oh my God, nobody liked this movie. Let's go back to Michael Myers forever.
And he also said, 44-year-old spoilers, the spoilest spoil ever. Brendan said Romero did a movie called Season of the Witch back in the 70s. So there you go. And Paul commented before too. He said, and I think he was referring to daylight savings time. He said they tried it in the early 60s, and there was a rash of morning school bus stop accidents. On a different note, Randy said, Happy U26031745. I guess he was trying to incorporate the star dates in there. So I just kind of missed that a little bit. So just catching up a little bit.
Thank you, Randy.
Yeah, thanks. All roads do lead to Star Trek one way or the other. And and speaking of which, I'll kick us off that way because we have no order tonight. We're going to be all over the place. So we'll start with Star Trek. There were a couple Star Trek connections in this movie. And there are well, 2 individuals, but 4 connections. And John Lorimer and Don Kiefer.
He wants his cake.
Yes.
Yeah.
He wants his cake. He played the father. And then he was also in the Cage. He was also in Return of the Archons. And he was also in For the World is Hollow and I Touched the Sky.
Yeah, he did a lot of TV, a lot of theater.
Yeah.
A lot of TV. Yeah.
He really, really did. And Don Kiefer, he was in the episode Assignment Earth when they went back to the 1960s and they're trying to catch Gary 7. And he was in the Mission Control. And incidentally, if you are a Twilight Zone fan, he was in the episode It's a Good Life. And that's the episode with Bill Mumy playing Anthony.
Send him to the cornfield. Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
And there was a nod to that, too, in this film.
It's interesting that, I mean, there was a whole like subgenre of these homage films, homages to the George Lucas with the Flash Gordon, Buck Rogers, Star Wars, the Steven Spielberg and Lucas with Raiders of the Lost Ark, looking back to the serials and the old B adventure movies, and then later Tarantino with Pulp Fiction and that sort of thing. With this, they went back and they were kind of sending up the horror comics. And it's not the only film to have kind of paid homage to the comic book. I mean, just last week we did Swamp Thing, and what's his name now? The director's name just slipped my Wes Craven.
Wes Craven, yep. Messed
around a little bit in the transitions with the screen wipes and the way he handled some of the. Somebody would say something or be an explosion and the lines would go out and the next scene would kind of
I love those I'll call them screen wipes, but they were more than screen wipes
and things.
Dissolves. Yeah, it was so well done.
Yeah, but this one really went all in for that. I mean, this was very much you never forget that it's paying tribute to these comic books of the 40s and 50s that got in so much trouble with the censors. And they had congressional hearings about this where the guys had to appear and explain themselves, get raked over the coals for having bloody severed heads on the covers of their comics and that sort of thing. So finally, the guy who founded EC Comics, it was originally an educational comic. So this guy Max Gaines founded this thing, and like the first thing he put out, they were like Bible stories and scientific stories and history stories and things of this sort. And then when he died, his son Bill Gaines took it over, and he's the one that really ramped up the genre stuff. He was a World War II veteran, and he got into the comics biz, and he just ramped up the horror.
He ran with it.
yeah, and went with it. So suddenly, educational comics became entertaining comics, is what they became. Until, as I said, he got in a lot of trouble with the censors and in Congress, and then he kind of pivoted into Mad Magazine. He with Harry Kurtzman, is that who was?
I think so.
Harvey Kurtzman.
Harvey.
And they founded Mad Magazine. Much later, there was a television series on HBO called Tales from the Crypt. Do you remember that?
During the 1980s, yeah.
Yeah, so he founded that show, created that show, and it was kind of a spin-off of the EC Comics ethos.
There's a lot of that entire tone really resonates along with Creepshow. It's very similar but different.
Yeah. Well, that one had didn't have the Crypt Keeper or whatever. It was kind of like the skeleton you see at the beginning of the movie in this one. Yeah.
Yes, as opposed to the Grim Reaper that's in this.
Yeah. So what's interesting is it's an anthology film. Mm-hmm. And often when they do these things, they have different directors, like in the Twilight Zone movie, which I don't think really worked out as well as this one did. In this one, we have George Romero directed all the segments, but they have different editors working on each of the 5 segments. So Romero actually edited the one with Ted Danson, the Tide, Leslie Nielsen one. He's the one he edited. And then he had other guys edit the other. And then I think he went through and did a little work on all the segments. But
you know what, though, taking that approach, I think, was a great idea, because I think it really gave a different type of I'll use the word again, a different tone to each segment. It individualized. It gave it each one had its own personality, but even more so because, as we know, with a director, I mean, it's a different vision, a different type of scope. Now, even though he directed everything, still, when the editor can make a movie, it could break a movie, right? I mean, we've heard different stories, and I'll even talk about the original Star Wars, how back, before it was released, it was a mess, and it was supposedly safe.
That's whether it's an urban legend or not, that's the story, that you always hear Marshall Lucas saved Star Wars, but it's a movie, a lot can be done with the editing.
The editing. Sure.
And this was certainly it was fun how they, between the segments, they would have those animated short things with the comic.
Yeah.
And it was just in general an affectionate send up or homage to these horror comics that these guys read when they were kids, Stephen King and George Romero, and right down to the letters and the goofy ads. I mean, if you read any kind of comic book, they always had the ads where you could send away for the X-ray glasses, the voodoo dolls, and amaze your friends with the amazing living skeleton that you would put in your pocket and it would jump out.
Well, that was one of the things too. When I was seeing this movie, I really wanted to get a copy of the comic. I was thinking this would be great if this was actually, a comic. Some comments coming through. Brennan said Romero did his own anthology show in the 80s too, Tales from the Dark Side. I do remember that.
Right.
Hey, Jeff. Jeff is joining us from Texas. Welcome. He said they don't do shows like that anymore, sadly. No, they don't, Jeff. It is, and it is. It's that's a whole, I'm so with you. Paul commented and said, I want to have a talk with whatever editor didn't cut those shots of Ed Harris dancing. Sherry was even saying to me, she's like, I can't even believe that's Ed Harris. She was like, I didn't even recognize him. That was a very young Ed Harris.
Yeah. That was by far the campiest of the segments. Although the Stephen King segment runs it close.
Now, let me ask you a question, Ross.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite segment and do you have a least favorite segment?
Yes. I think, probably most people would say the crate was the best. I don't know if we're talking about objective or subjective. I think subjective and objective. I think the crate was the best one. And the weakest one was probably people would argue with me about this, but probably the first one. But I didn't think any of them were so weak that they embarrassed, people give Stephen King a lot of heat for how he played that role, but it was on purpose,
right.
that he was so, it's a grand tradition of mocking the hayseeds.
Oh yeah. And I guess when I say, okay, well, you did put you try to clarify, whether subjective, objective.
Yeah.
I would say I'm going to go for just a personal, I'm not critiquing performance or the story. I'm just saying as far as what your appeal was, as far as your feelings about what you liked and what you disliked.
Yeah. So you want to know why? Is what you're saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that the interesting part? I just thought the crate was really well done. It turned out that Stephen King had actually written a story, the crate, before they made it into a movie, which might be the reason it's so well realized. It's amazing that they took over a girls' school in this town outside of Pittsburgh. It was Greensburg, Pennsylvania, and they actually made this into a set. And it's unbelievable that was not actually, they did that whole thing. That was not the basement of the girls' school. They actually constructed that. And it looked so much like the basement of any school you've ever gone to.
Oh yeah, they did a great job with that.
Yeah. But you had Hal Holbrook, you had
Fritz Weaver.
Fritz Weaver and Adrienne Barbeau. I mean, it's like luxury casting.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So and why did I think the The first one was the weakest because it was all types and very campy and but it was on purpose. It kind of eased you into the film, the goofy tone of the film, And,
I would agree.
It builds an intensity. Yeah,
I would agree. It was done on purpose, and it was it was the buildup as you were describing earlier.
Yeah. What about you?
For me, I probably it's the one. Poor Stephen King, but that was probably my least favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And also the one with the bugs. I just don't like roaches.
And what was your favorite one then?
It was a toss-up between the crate and the one with whatchamacallit?
Leslie Nielsen.
Leslie Nielsen. Something that tied you over.
Yeah. Kind of figured you might like that. Yeah, it was good. Because it's fun because it's Leslie Nielsen and it's Ted Danson.
Sure.
Before people really knew who Ted Danson was, it was right after this that he started with Cheers. In fact, I think on the set they said, "Well, what are you doing?" He says, "I'm supposed to go up and audition, or I got this part," and it's like a bunch of people hanging out in a bar in Boston. How'd that work out for you, Ted?
Does $1 million an episode sound about right?
Yeah.
No, actually, that was the cast of Friends. I don't know if Danson got. He probably did though. He did all right.
Yeah, he did okay.
He did okay. Yeah. That was
so I watched this with my friend Paul Miller, who's out there tonight. He has it on 4K, so he said, "Hey, you want to come up and watch it?" He actually invited Roy too, but Roy was busy that night, so we watched it and we got into a discussion about because he loves the crate. He thinks the crate's the best one, and he felt like the E.G. Marshall one with the roaches was too far, not because it was too gross, but just because it just it was, they should have stopped it because that was like the best, strongest segment. But I was thinking about it, and I was kind of arguing, well, no, if you were going to put the E.G. Marshall segment in the movie, where would you put it? What I mean? It would have to be the end because it's just kind of the most excessive, even if it's not the scariest or if it's not the I don't know. I thought it was very well done. I think the last two were very good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if you're going to put that segment in there, you kind of have to do the roaches last. You can't. That's a tough act to follow. To have how many roaches was it? I wrote it down.
Did you see the budget for that? The budget
20,000 cockroaches. You can't outdo that. And apparently, every time they would let them loose, they had to film real quick because all the roaches would just disappear. Could you imagine? They brought all these roaches into the country, and it's like, oh, sorry.
Disperse. There's nothing to see here.
Sorry, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has hundreds of thousands of roaches on it.
Oh,
I'm sure they reproduce very quickly.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Talk about expensive casting. I'm going to throw up a few slides just to remind folks of the different segments in case, but let me just put that up here.
And how do you convince people well, I guess Hal Holbrook was in The Fog, which John Carpenter.
Sure.
But how do you get Hal Holbrook and Fritz Weaver and E.G. Marshall and it's crazy. This cast is just.
The cast was that was a powerhouse. Leslie Nielsen too. And I was reading that, he was, consummate actor. He's serious on point and everything, but in between takes, and he's known for it. He has like a fart machine, and he would be like having that thing go off in between the takes and everything. And the cast was like breaking up because, there's a guy that was a leading man in the 1950s. I mean, and of course, Forbidden Planet. I mean, that's just one example, the sci-fi example, but he did so many things. And then what happened was probably in the late 60s. In fact, he was in the pilot episode of Hawaii Five-0, not as a villain, but he was in there as but he's in the 70s, I would say probably the late 60s, early 70s, you would see him as a villain. He was always like the bad guy. And then after, I think it was with Airplane, is when he started doing comedy. I mean, that was released in what, 1980, 81. And that was right before this movie.
Yeah,
and
so it's not much.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about having different types of personas on the big screen, and leading man, villain, and then comedic relief. I mean, just very, very talented. And Vince and I regret this, we went to New York City, and in fact I was with him, and Vince was with his girlfriend at the time, and Leslie Nielsen was doing a book signing, and super nice, was great, was wonderful with the fans, and I regret not having gotten his autograph. But yeah, just a heck of a nice guy. And yes, Brennan, absolutely, my God, Police Squad in color.
Right. Which must have been too long after this, or it was the same year, wasn't it? When was it on?
Police Squad was 1982. And there was only 6 episodes, but it was hysterical. And I remember I was at talk about all the connections and stuff. I remember being at Walden Books. It was on a Saturday afternoon, and I was getting my Starlog magazine in Palmer, Pennsylvania, where Ross used to reside. And I was at the bookstore, and then this guy I went to high school with, Stu Davis, we got talking, and then he started telling me about this comic show that was on, comedy show that was, he described it as a comedy show, but he said it was Police Squad, and he said there's only going to be so many episodes, but he said it's hysterical, and he's like, even William Shatner's in it in the one episode, and he's like a special guest star, and he bites the dust at the beginning, and that they do this with each episode. And I think that was like the 5th episode, and then I caught the last one, and then I was able to see the reruns later on. But so funny, and he was great. Leslie Nielsen was. In fact, when they did the really going off target here, Chiller, Vince and I were at Chiller probably about 15 years ago, and it had to be at least 15 years ago. Peter Lupus, for the folks out there who remember Peter Lupus, he played. He was the strongman, and he was Willie in the Mission Impossible television series from 1966 to 1973. He was a Chiller. Anyway, Peter Lupus was in the Police Squad episodes, and he was talking about how he had done those, and he said Leslie Nielsen was great, and it was so much fun. But the problem was they didn't have him come back to be in the movies. What they did was, in fact, they didn't have Alan North come back, and he was Leslie Nielsen's boss. They put in George Kennedy, who we know from the from the movies, the airport movies, and, the Blue Knight, and etc. And then what they did was, instead of having Peter Lupus play the detective, what they did was they had oh my God, his name's going right out of my head. This is terrible.
O.J. Simpson.
O.J. Simpson, thank you. Yeah.
That guy.
And,
yeah.
They had him in there because they wanted, and he was even saying that the studio wanted him to have other stars to help carry the film, because Leslie Nielsen was going to be the star of the movie.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, that was probably about 15 years ago, because Peter Lupus was waiting. He was coming up on his 80th birthday, and he was going to be doing a lift. Yeah, I mean, he's a bodybuilder and he's huge, and he was going to be doing a tournament for his age. And now he's like 90. I think he's probably 93 years old. He's still with us. But anyway, I digress.
So this is probably, it's one of the last straight roles, even though it's tongue in cheek. It's humorous to some extent. It's one of the last straight roles that Leslie Nielsen played.
Yeah.
After that, it was all comic films. Although, he says, I can hold my breath for a long time. He gets a look on his face when the wave hits him.
Oh my God. Randy commented and said, I love people that don't take themselves too serious. Me? No, absolutely. The Hague said E.G. was kind of winding down his career. I think he had a wonderful toupee in the Soups 2 movie, Superman. I think that toupee is where the bugs came from in this movie.
He's one of the 12 Angry Men. Yeah.
Yeah, 12 Angry Men. Hey, Gavin, thank you for joining us, and nice to see that you're out there. And John also said, if the glove don't fit, then you must have quit. There you go. So, yeah. But anyway, yeah. So I mean, what a career, and I really enjoyed. And then they did the as I was saying, we were talking about the Police Squad movies, but I think he did 3 of those, if I'm not mistaken.
Right, he did. They weren't, what was it? The Naked Gun. Yeah.
The Naked Gun films. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he did a million other comedies, half of which we've never even heard of. There's always a Leslie Nielsen movie I never heard of.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, what? I don't remember him doing that movie.
What? How?
Cashing the check. Yeah.
But anyway, let me share the slides. I was going to put some, let's see here. No, interesting enough, the kid that was in the movie was Stephen King's son.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was pretty interesting. So anyway, there was the prologue, and Ross was talking about that a little bit. And I mean, they do the set, and I'm not going to go through each story, but I mean, with the prologue, the boy who in essence he goes by Joe Hill. That's his and he's a writer as well, and he's doing very well.
Was it Joe Hill? Is that his name?
I think that's
it is Joe Hill.
Yeah, it's Joe.
No, Hill. Joe Hill is the big labor folk hero. He's the Swede that encouraged everybody to strike against the man.
Oh, there you go.
Back in the day, but it's probably just a coin. There are only so many names you can use. Okay,
yeah,
so Joe Hill, is that his real name?
Yeah. Well, it's actually Joe Hill. It's short. It's shortened. I forget what his but that's his writing name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, with that said, he's basically being lambasted by his dad, and his dad is portrayed by the actor you mentioned earlier,
Tom Atkins. Yeah.
Tom Atkins, and he basically doesn't like him reading comic books and
horror comics,
and horror and everything. He thinks it's trash. In fact, he takes the Creepshow comic that he has and he throws it out on him, and then he slaps him around. That was actually kind of disturbing. I mean, he was a real nasty son of a gun, Tom Atkins' character as the father. And what they do is they do these extensions throughout the film, and basically he's like plotting against his dad in some of the words.
It's kind of cool is that prop that they use, the Creepshow comic was actually drawn by an EC artist from the 50s by the name of Jack Kamen.
Yes. Yeah.
Which apparently wasn't their first choice. He asked another one of the artists and he didn't want to do it. so they went to Jack Kamen and said, yeah, I'll do it.
I'm on board.
I'm on board. I haven't been doing anything since the 50s.
It's interesting though about the comic, how it went from EC to
went from the educational to the
entertainment.
Yeah. It's very interesting if you read about the history of the comics, all the moral panic and how these artists and writers would have to appear before Congress, because they would always have boy sidekicks, and it was always that sort of thing, and there was always like people were getting skeeved out by these this is my ward. Batmite. No,
yeah, I was just going to say, well, yeah, Batmite was the original.
And bloody heads and just how rough things. Now nobody would even bat an eye at half the stuff that
right.
People got to, but
that's
because we have our foot on the banana peel and anything goes now. Yeah.
You can start singing "Anything Goes," Ross.
Yeah. In olden days, we're just so jaded. Yeah.
Brennan said a lot of people are raving about King Sorrow, Hill's latest book.
Oh, that's right. He became a writer also.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, Stephen King's son. Yeah.
Yeah, he's accomplished in his own right.
Yeah.
Stephen King is what, in his 80s now, I think?
Is he really? Is he in his 80s?
Yeah.
Or late 70s? He's 80?
I think he's
Could
in his
be.
80s.
Could
I
be.
think so.
Wow.
It's just,
I'm in an awkward position here talking about this because I have never read a Stephen King story. I've never read a Stephen King book or even a story. Yeah.
He's 78, but go on.
I might have the Crate anthologized in there or something with my stuff, but I've never read any of his stuff, and I know he's got a big following, and I keep saying, "Oh, I'll read one of these. I want to read Salem's Lot, or maybe I'll read The Shining." Everybody seems to think that's a pretty good one, but yeah, I've never.
Did we do Salem's Lot?
No, we didn't. We talked about it a lot.
We got to do that this October. We're going to do Salem's Lot.
Salem's Lot. We talked about it a lot.
Yeah, we definitely did. We got to. I mean, we got some time. I mean, it's only 7 months away now.
David Soul Fest. Yeah.
October will be here before you know it, folks. Mark your
October. It's all David Soul.
We're announcing it on the show again.
Yeah.
Last week we announced Creepshow. Tonight we're announcing, and we're announcing. All right, let's dig
yourself a hole, Roy.
What's that? Yeah,
dig yourself a hole.
Yeah, literally, right?
Yeah. So, just like in the movie.
Just like in the movie. Yeah. I'm trying to share the screen.
I wasn't referencing that. Did you notice that here? All right, we'll just do this. This is fine. We'll move forward. Yeah.
What were you going to say, Ross? Real quick.
I was just going to say, did you notice in the at the end of the Jordy Verrill sequence where they had the crossroads with the signs, and they had Bangor and Portland, and they had Castle Rock as one of the towns.
I missed that. I did miss that.
Yeah. So that it's obviously a self-referential thing. Stephen King always had the Castle Rock as his fictional location that Rob Reiner took as his film studio. Yeah.
One of the things that they did too is throughout each segment there was an ashtray that they used.
Yes, most evidently in the first sequence when the guy's finally bludgeoned, but it turns up in every sequence, every segment of the film. Yeah, where do they? Yeah, because I didn't notice it. I know where it is, but I didn't notice it in the Jordy Verrill scene. But it started turning up in the other segments, and it's like, I see what they're doing. Yeah, having a little fun with the prop.
Randy said this broadcast should be called Laugh Show.
There you go.
Paul just commented. He said, "I never understood how the horror comics came back in nastier than ever in the 70s with comics code approval."
I know. Yeah. You wonder why they even bothered in the 70s with the comics code.
Oh, the Hague said, "Never read King, never will."
Never read King, never will. Yeah.
Oh no, excuse me, never read King, never will.
Well, he has his following, and I'm just curious to see, how good his writing is. I mean, I've read a lot of pulp stuff. I've read a lot of horror stuff, but I've never. What did it say? He'll actually.
Yeah, he said Hill actually wrote a Tales from the Dark Side comic miniseries.
Okay.
Oops. Speaking of bugs, just had one buzzing.
Bugs.
No, it's actually a ladybug, but they're fake ladybugs. They're not the real things.
Oh yeah,
they're evil imposters from the mirror universe. Ross, look out. John is saying to Paul, love the Gold Key and Charlton horror comics back in the 70s. Paul said, I've read a couple of non-horror anthologized short stories.
The King, Stephen King, yeah. Yeah, I think I might have the Crate back there in one of my, now that I think about it, in one of my anthologies, but I've never read it.
The Crate, really?
Yeah. I can go look to see if I've got it right, but I've got something back there. You'll never see me again, Roy. Yeah.
When you open it up, be careful.
Right. So that there with the cigar, that's Viveka Linfors. And I know her from Errol Flynn's The Adventures of Don Juan. She plays the queen, the Spanish queen in that movie back in the 40s.
Yep.
So I had a hard time placing her, but I saw her name in the credits. It was only later that I realized it was her. She was still doing stuff in the 80s.
She looks so I don't want to say out of place, but she looks like somebody would have been in those movies, honestly. Just the way she carried herself, conducted herself, her look.
I think she had fun with it.
Oh, I'm sure she did.
Yeah.
That's just it. I mean, no one in this movie, I mean, the way they portrayed, were taking themselves seriously. It looks like it was like a blast.
Yeah. So there you go. Yeah. There's Ed Harris in the middle.
Yeah, right there.
You don't really see him so well, but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and the name of the housekeeper, the in the kitchen there was Mrs. Danvers. I don't know if you caught that or not.
I didn't.
Because in Alfred Hitchcock's Rebecca, Mrs. Danvers was the sinister housekeeper. Who was always terrorizing Joan Fontaine. Yeah.
Yeah, Joan Fontaine. Wow. Paul said I used to go for the B&W Warner Comics, Creepy, Eerie, etc.
Yeah, black and white. Yeah. Yeah, all those horror comics made me a little sick, so I tried to avoid those. As I said last week, the only ones I ever read were the ones in my at the barber shop when I was waiting to get my hair cut, because his kids will read horror.
It's so funny that you're saying that, because honestly, that was really the only time I really read them myself.
Oh, okay.
Seriously, I just
read horror when you get your hair cut.
I just wasn't into the comics. And I know Vince isn't out there tonight, but he was the comic collector. My God, I mean, his collection of comics was amazing. And sadly, he lost a lot of those in his basement because of floods and they just got ruined.
I loved comics. But I wasn't into the horror.
You weren't into the horror comics.
Yeah, I was into the heroes mostly. But there was some horror in there. Marvel did some horror, and I had some of those.
Yeah.
In the war comics, they did some war comics. Yeah.
I just want to say hi to my mom, Betty. She's out there tonight. I saw her out there. Hi, Mom. Love you. Thanks for joining us. I don't know if you saw Creepshow. I'll have to ask you about that. I don't know if she saw it or not. My mom loves movies. I mean, she really does. She's really enjoying Netflix right now too.
Yeah.
So. But let me see. I want my cake.
But you can see there, you've got the frame. It's like something that would be in the comics. And then this technique that they have here that they had in all the segments, they actually did that. It wasn't in camera. They would have scrims and backdrops where they would shine the light to kind of create this almost like a Dick Tracy effect. They were doing that with the another film that was influenced by the comic strips. But yeah, so that was fun. Anytime anybody would scream or whatever, you'd have the lines coming out of their head. And yeah, this was kind of almost like a variation of that camp ghost story, like, Who Ate My Green Toe? I don't know if you remember that one.
I don't, but but it's appropriate.
I want my green toe.
The horror light, Ross.
Yeah. So this was so ludicrous and so silly,
It was, but it was fun.
So it was just fun. So you're not really prepared for by the time you get to the crate. just how gruesome it starts to get. Yeah.
And then again, there's the father, John Lorimer. Now he was supposedly brought back to life by, was it gin? That was
whiskey, wasn't it?
Whiskey. It was whiskey, and whiskey in what is it in Ireland lore? I think is
water life or whatever. So I did read that. Yeah, and somebody speculated it might have been a reference to Finnegan's Wake, because apparently there's a workman who cracks his skull and he's thought to be dead, and they pour whiskey on him and it revives him.
Right, exactly.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, last week we had Swamp Thing where they were making a reference to the Herzog movie. So.
The Hague said some angles reminded me of the Batman TV show. Yeah, I
Right,
agree.
right. They do that
Well,
Dutch angle with the
yeah. Well, yeah, because if it was crooked, the crooks are crooked. Yeah.
right, right.
Paul said
Which
Swamp Thing.
again is very
What's that?
good. I was going to say, which again is kind of a comic book. They always draw things on askew and
Yeah.
for dramatic effect. But okay, go ahead. Read Paul's comment. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Paul said Swamp Thing got its start in the DC horror title House of Secrets. But yeah, those angles, those camera angles are definitely fun, and the borders that they put around them too really worked. And I love anytime somebody was going to really like get it, that's when they would do the backdrop with the light, the red lights and everything, and you knew somebody was doomed.
Yeah, and it was fun how they could do 4 frames on a screen, and you could see the different things happening at the same time.
Yeah, it was a cool effect.
Yeah.
I don't know. And again, it is silly and it was fun, and I am not knocking his Stephen King's performance, but it just was, I don't know. It was just a little too hillbilly-ish for me. I just
What, like hillbilly elegy? Is that what you're talking about? No, but it was very, very over the top, but on purpose. Yeah. It was intentional.
Oh yeah, definitely on purpose.
Play it like a cartoon, Yeah.
I just wasn't. It wasn't a favorite.
But even that's kind of comic. I mean, as far as like funny, and not as comic book, but like supposedly comic. It ends horribly, and that's kind of the trajectory of horror. You always have that inevitability of the downward. You can't stop. The downward trajectory, the despair of the inevitability of fate. It
almost reminded me of like when he touched that stuff. It almost reminded me of like the Blob, because it just kept on spreading, and there was no turning back. I mean, it was just again. Anything that happened in these, you knew that there was no way out. It was you were done. And he was
so mean spirited. I guess we're supposed to think he deserved it because he was a dope, and he thought he was going to make money off of the media, right?
Anyway,
yeah,
and then something that tied you over.
yeah, they had fun with the zombie or the Walking Dead makeup in this. Apparently Ted Danson couldn't stop laughing. They had to keep redoing the takes. And again, there you have in the background that effect.
Yeah, on the right. And even with the with him in the water, they did that.
Yeah, and this is great. This is totally pre-CG. That they actually had to do things like figure out how to put his head in a fish tank.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love stuff like that. The computers have ruined everything.
I mean, you're a little. Well,
you think I'm an extremist?
I do. I mean, I understand where you're going with it, but I'm more in the middle. I think that it's all. For me, it's always about the balance, and this is where Ross will say, "Roy, you're the eternal diplomat." But it is about the balance. But
no, I don't know. I think I'm much more impressed when they have these guys show up and say, okay, how are we going to do this effect? And they've got to like grab whatever's around. And first they say, oh yeah, we can do that. And then they say, how are we going to do that? And they have to go figure out, go do it in the garage somewhere. John Dykstra and a bunch of guys figure out how to build a Death Star and how they're going to film this thing, this dogfight. Now it's like, I mean, there's not a lack of skill in using computers. There's a lot of skill involved.
Oh my God.
But it's not the same as and I know I'm going to offend Bruce out there because I know he worked. Didn't he work in the industry there with the computers?
Yeah.
But it's just, there was just something about the practical effects and using models and using, the gore effects that they came up with, the animatronic creatures. Tom Savini did the gore effects in this movie.
Right.
And he was a regular Romero collaborator. He did the effects on Dawn of the Dead, which had which got really gruesome, which is another funny horror movie. Very tense, but a lot of humor in it and social commentary. But there's a very intense gore scene in the middle of that, and Savini's in it for that scene. You know, he basically gets eviscerated, but you know, it's just the fact that they're able to kind of. Oh, so in this, he contacted Rob Bottin, who did the Creatures and the Howling, the werewolves, so that he could figure out how to do the creature in the crate. They wanted to do an animatronic creature for that. So, do they look more convincing than computer
I think
creatures?
I mean, when I was,
I don't know, but they look cool.
No,
they're interesting. Yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah.
No, what I was going to say was, I think that depending upon what it is, I think that with the computer use, it can be applied. I miss the old fashioned ways. I miss getting down and dirty too. Like, Sherry just commented. She said, "I agree, Ross. I love the practical effects and when they used real animals, not CGI animals." I mean, there's the problem. I think what it is too is that there's times where they're using the computer, and that they're using the computer. You know what I mean? And
right.
even, I mean, obviously we know it's a model for all practical effects, but there's something that's limiting. It just depends upon the scenario, I think.
We do see a lot with computers where we don't even know they're computers anymore. And I don't mind that. But
and here's an example for you too. I mean, Sherry and I were just talking about it because she was saying to me, and this is just one thing. We've been watching Star Trek Enterprise, I'll just say Enterprise, and she was asking me, did they use models or did they use computers? And I said, honestly, I don't know. And I looked it up, and from what I was being told is that it was all computer generated. There was no model. And I was like, wow. I mean, that's just, and yeah.
The other thing about this movie is they had some matte paintings in it, and that's kind of that's a thing of the past. It's a dinosaur. They don't really do a lot of matte paintings anymore, unless they're deliberately being retro in what they.
Right.
Sometimes you get these directors that insist on it, eccentric directors, guys that only use film and not digital. It's all got to be real, man.
Yeah. I mean,
do a matte painting. Yeah.
One I could just think of, a lot of television shows that have used matte paintings, and it's amazing. Star Wars, obviously, the Star Wars movies.
Yeah, there's just some magic to it. I don't know. I mean, even if you don't know it, even if you know it's not real, it's got atmosphere. They do it in old movies all the time. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. Paul said apparently all the actors were completely on board for doing all this crazy stuff. Romero supposedly had that effect on set. Yeah. Brennan said it's interesting to see behind the scenes watching Savini do his work. Oh, I'm sure. And Randy said there was a realism that is unmatched. Absolutely. Brennan also said, I love practical effects. I hate when they go back to some of my favorite shows from the past and fill in CGI. Yeah, no, that annoys me. And I'll take it even a step further. If they do the CGI with the old shows, I'm okay with it. But here's my disclaimer. I don't mind seeing it, but do not destroy the original product. And it drives me crazy when they do that. Back in the day, they were colorizing stuff and it looked horrible. It's like, just let it be. Why do if it's black and white, it's black and white. If you want to turn it into color, sure, give us the example and we can enjoy it, but don't destroy the original print. Gavin said,
good.
I like when Star Trek: The Next Generation used the same map painting week after week. Yeah, exactly.
Not everybody's like us, though. There are people out there who literally not watch something because it's black and white. They'll just dismiss it out of hand.
Yeah. No, I dated somebody years ago that was like that. I mean, she would, she was just like, oh my God, I can't watch this. This is like, it makes me nauseous. And I was like,
it's so weird. Yeah. But there are people like that. And then when they try to sell stuff, even if it's a black and white movie, they'll try to do a color thing often on the outside of the box, on the,
do you remember how bad, I mean, It was probably in the 80s. Maybe it was even no, I'm not gonna even say it was in the 90s. I think it was in the 80s. It was probably mid to late 80s. They started colorizing stuff and it was horrible.
Well, yeah, when they first started doing it, was the Laurel and Hardy shorts and things like that. Yeah, they were awful. It actually made, I had that reaction that your girlfriend had with the black and white. I felt nauseous watching the early colorized things.
Yeah.
It just was not. Ooh.
Yeah. No.
But I had that reaction also. Maybe I had a visceral reaction to the early CG with the dancing baby and stuff. And I thought Toy Story was just going to be something like that. And I said, there's no way I'm going to sit through, an hour and a half, 2-hour movie of that. And so I didn't see it for many, many years. And I saw it and I said, it was a pretty good movie.
There you go.
But if it had been 2 hours of that dancing baby, I don't know. I don't think I would have made it.
Russ would have made it. He said, I'm out of here. Now, let me just put my disclaimer out there because this is going to be me covering myself. When it comes to cool stuff and everything, Shari is on board. She is, yeah. Love you, hon. Randy said, is that a matte painting behind Ross? No, it isn't. No, it's actually a matte painting. Yeah. Ross is the matte painting.
I'm the matte painting. Exactly. I'm a Muppet. That's what I am.
It's the Muppet Show with a very special guest star, Ross Amico.
Frank Oz operates me before the matte painting of the CDs.
Oh, that's funny. Gavin commented, he said, I believe the Orville and the Mandalorian went back to models but used CGI enhanced. I honestly don't know. That you're probably right. Randy is saying colorizing like tie-dye. Surely you jest.
It's funny. I think it was Ted Turner that was really pushing for that early on.
It was.
Before he got into when TCM came out, it's like, we'll never do that.
Yeah.
Everything's the way it was, uncut and commercial free, and
that's the way it was.
Yeah.
Brennan said, I remember seeing the colorized Maltese Falcon. Ugh. Oh, man.
Yeah, it really ruins the classics, especially when they deliberately film them with the idea that it's all about the shadows and the film noir. And you don't want the color,
No, I mean that's terrible.
It's the blackbird. It's the blackbird.
That disgusts me. Gavin said the woman who was running Apple TV believed anything made pre-2000 was of no value. Sad. Imagine never seeing Casablanca.
Yeah, I know people like that. They're not among my circle of friends. but I know they exist.
They didn't make the cut.
I've encountered them, but they're not in my inner circle. Yeah,
you don't exist. The colorized thing from another world. Lots of laughs. Jeff is saying my favorite, Gilligan's Island, where all the castaways had gray teeth. Randy said, think about black and white versus color in Wizard of Oz. Oh, yeah. There you go.
Wait a minute. What?
No,
they filmed it that way. Is that what you're saying? Well, they had the sepia. They had like kind of a sepia thing, and then it went to the color when she got to the
color in the movie.
And it's very interesting because in that actual sequence where it segues, the person standing in for Judy Garland is wearing. They deliberately dressed her sepia. That was not a camera trick. That was actually, they really had black and white up front, and then when she steps back, Judy Garland jumps through into the color. So it's a really clever trick. Yeah. You just assumed it was like some kind of technical trick, but it was really done there on set.
There you go.
Yeah, technological trick, but it is a technical trick, but it was there. It was not in camera or it wasn't a special effect, even though it fools the eye. Yeah.
Gavin said, think of the people who first saw Wizard of Oz on a black and white TV. They must have been really confused. So that movie came out, 1939?
That's right.
So that movie is going to be, 87 years old this year. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It was just, The Hague just told me it was Kong's anniversary the other day. We're coming up on... Yeah, I've said this before. We're getting close to the 100th anniversary of some of these movies.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, think about it. 76 is 50 years ago. I mean, remember when the movies from the 1930s was 50 years old? I mean, my God. And now it's
I
76.
remember it was 40 years old. I mean, we were watching the Bela Lugosi movies and
Yeah,
in the 70s. Yeah.
it's crazy. Brennan said, I saw Arnold Schwarzenegger singing Over the Rainbow recently. Oh, boy. Let me see here. Here's another. The crate.
Great.
She actually looked like she was having a lot of fun with that role.
Yeah.
She really did.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would love to get her on this show. I'm gonna see if I can pull that off somehow. That would be great to have her on here. What do you think, Ross?
I don't know. I'd be a little starstruck.
I mean, she seems really down to earth. I think that would be really cool.
Well, she certainly did enough genre stuff that we'd have plenty to talk about for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna work on that behind the scenes.
Work on that.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll see how it goes. You heard it first here, folks.
I'm skeptical.
I know. So am I. But we'll see. Never say never. I think that's what you said to me earlier.
Yeah. There you go. So that's Fluffy.
Yeah, it's Fluffy.
On the set, they called the creature Fluffy.
They had a name for each of the creatures.
Yeah. But, yeah.
Or scenarios. Yeah, and there was poor Don Kiefer.
That was a pretty intense sequence.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Very well done. Yeah.
They're creeping up on you, Ross.
There you go. Oh, so one of the voices in this, Paul's saying to me, I know that voice. I was trying to peg who it was. Ned Beatty was one of the voices in that sequence.
You know who else did a voice that was uncredited?
What?
Richard Gere.
Well, he was supposed to be on the TV, wasn't he, in the Leslie Nielsen segment? I didn't notice it.
Yeah.
Did you?
No, but I read about it.
Yeah. So maybe his voice was coming out of the TV. Maybe they don't show him, but yeah. I didn't know. Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't catch Ned Beatty either. I read about that as well. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Mr. Luthor. A lot of roaches in here. There weren't that many roaches in the subterranean lair. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the extent of the roaches that I did, Ross. But again, there's the border.
That's right. I forgot you got a little bit of a bug phobia.
Yeah, I just don't like them.
But it's a gross segment, but it's it goes so far.
It does. Brennan said, I believe that last year was the 100th anniversary of Chaney's Phantom of the Opera. Good movie, by the way.
What year is this here? It's 25. So
that would have been 25.
Yeah, could be. Wow. Yeah.
That's crazy.
We're burning through the silence. We're burning through the silent era. So,
yeah. And
soon we'll be up to the jazz singer. Yeah.
Paul said the Lugosi's Dracula was just 95 on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Well, I remember when 2040, I was thinking, oh my God, 2040 is so far away. It's 14 years from now. It's crazy.
I've had more than one person remark, watching old movies, like, it's crazy to think that everybody in this movie is dead.
Yeah.
And, I know that when I'm watching a lot of these things, but it doesn't really affect me that way for some reason when I'm watching it. I don't get hung up on it. But yeah, I mean, when movies start turning 100 and everybody in it, unless you're Lloyd Nolan, or not Lloyd Nolan, who was the guy that was in the Hitchcock movies that lived to be 106? He finally died a couple of years ago, but he
made the cut.
He made the cut. He was in Saboteur and Lloyd or Nolan. I don't know. I know who it is, but
yeah,
it doesn't help us now.
Yeah, it's really bizarre because when you're younger, I was just talking about this the other day, and you feel like, oh my God, 40, 50, 60, that's getting up there, 70. It's up there. Now it's like, that's not that bad. It's we're on the cusp.
Yeah.
Norman Lloyd. Thank you, Brennan.
Thank you. Norman Lloyd. Yeah. It was very different from Lloyd Nolan. Another old movie actor. But, yeah. I was just Googling it. I very seldom Google while we're actually doing a show, but that was driving me crazy.
Oh, I didn't realize that was him. Oh my goodness. I remember him. Oh my God. Sure.
Yeah.
Unlike Ross, I will Google.
You're better at it. You've got multiple computers going there.
Yeah, I got a few screens, but and the epilogue.
Yeah.
The sun gets the last word.
That's right.
And again, the background. I don't know. Overall, I really enjoyed this movie. It was, St. Elsewhere. Just a lot of fun, and very dark, but it had a wide range, I'd say.
It was dark but fun. I mean, you had the whole, Tom Savini appears in the Garbage Man segment, and they're just, I don't even know if they had dialogue. I mean, they just kind of improvised.
Right.
It's like, this is what you guys have to talk about, and the stuff. They're just screwing around, and of course with the animatronic skeleton, you can't take that too seriously.
No.
Looking in the window and laughing, and and the backdrops with the lines coming out of people's head, and whenever they were doing all kinds of stuff with the lighting.
Yeah, like that.
The ceiling would light up a certain color, and,
right.
Yeah,
it just worked. It
I thought it was very well done. I mean, some people had mixed feelings about it. Some gave it a favorable review. Like I said, Roger Ebert liked it. I remember, but I thought it was a good movie. Is it a world beater? Is it a 4 or 5 star movie? I don't know if I go that far, but I think it's a pretty good movie. And the only movie actually that George Romero directed that he didn't write.
Yeah.
Apparently.
And this was Stephen King's film debut, I think, as far as a script, wasn't it?
I don't know.
I think I read that this was his first screenplay.
Okay.
The film earned $21 million in the United States, and there was a sequel, Creepshow 2, which was in 1987. Also,
I think there were a couple of sequels, weren't there?
There was
I didn't see any.
Yeah, Creepshow 3 was in 2006 as well, and then of course there's the TV series, which was in 2019 to 2023. Now, one of the stories I must have seen Creepshow 2. There was a story where they are with these kids, and when I say kids, are like maybe college kids, and they go out to an island, and then there's this and in fact, The Hague is out there. It's going to remind me of that movie that I wanted to do that you didn't want to do, Ross, The Flesh Eaters. Remember that film?
Oh yeah,
it was almost like that. And
I didn't want to do it because it was black and white.
Nah. But anyway, Flesh Eaters was 63, 64. It's somewhere in that time frame. And it was funny because John, he showed me the DVD. But I remember seeing that back in like the 70s, like on Channel 5, and it was like, it's a float they swim to. Paul, that was Creepshow, wasn't it? I'm thinking that was I was thinking it was actually this Creepshow until I watched the movie, but I think that was Creepshow 2. If I'm not mistaken. And it was funny. Brennan is saying it was King's first screenplay. He did Cat's Eye, another anthology, not long after. Okay, yeah. But
Cat's Eye's an anthology also.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's the one I was thinking. But I thought that was in this. Yeah, it was Brennan saying it was Creepshow 2. Okay, yeah.
Because Romero wasn't involved in the second one, right?
No. I don't.
I know he didn't direct it. I don't know if he produced it or not, but
no. Well, actually, no. It was written by Romero, but he didn't direct it. I'm sorry, I stand corrected. It was directed by Michael Gornick, who was the choreographer on this film. Film's choreographer. So, So there's that connection.
There you go.
So
there is a pedigree.
Yeah, there is. Starlog magazine. We always like to give Starlog magazine a tribute. Issue number 59. We're talking about Arnie earlier. Yeah. And Conan is here on the cover. Wow. What else is on there? Yeah.
Cat People.
What's that?
Cat People.
Cat People.
Yeah, the remake with Malcolm McDowell and Nastasia Kinski.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And Who Goes There? Part 2. That's the original story that The Thing was based on. The Thing from Another World. I remember when they ran that in the magazine because it was unavailable. You couldn't read the original story, and they reprinted it in Starlog.
Oh, interesting. And Tron. Remember Tron?
Is Tron on there? I didn't see it.
Yeah, it's at the top. Tron, Krull, and Star Trek. Because Star Trek
Krull was a movie I haven't seen since it was in the theater. We should do that sometime.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah. Tron we haven't done. We could do that. And
we can do Tron. Yeah, we've kicked that around too. Yeah.
Star Trek we did. Star Trek 2, because that's the one they're referring to.
I know Horner did the music for Krull, and it was the fans highly regard it, but the movie didn't really impress me when I saw it in the theater, but I wouldn't mind seeing it again at some point. Doesn't have to be next week. But
no, definitely not. I'm with you, Jeff. I miss Starlog. It was our pre-internet. Absolutely. That was our source of information. Yes, Brennan. Yep. I see History of Spaceships. Absolutely. And then Randy said, I recently watched Arnold on Netflix when he discussed Conan.
I want to see King Conan. I think it's such a waste that they never did the third Conan movie. And now he's going to be too old if they don't get on it pretty soon.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they'll have a younger lead, and he'll just kind of be the,
Or they could do what they did with, you know where I'm going to go with this. They could do which I hope they don't.
No, they're not going to de-age him. I don't want that. Is that what you're going to say?
That's exactly what I was going to say. And if they decide to de-age him, I hope they de-age his voice. I still can't believe they oh my God. I don't know what rocket scientists missed that.
Well, that movie was a waste anyway. They should have thrown that whole thing into a big hole and buried it. And had Leslie Nielsen laugh. That movie made me so angry. And you know what? They're going to close the movie theater I saw it in too. So I'm so happy. I'll never have to think of it again.
There's you watching.
Dial of Destiny. Yeah.
I don't know who the poor sap next to you is. It ain't me.
Dial of Density. Yeah.
Maybe it's the director. Oh boy!
I told you, right, that I thought this was such a great idea that if they had gotten Short Round to come back, and then they would have kind of like reversed the
it would have been great.
The formula that they did with the third movie. They could have done it again, with Harrison Ford playing the Sean Connery role.
Right.
And I thought, oh, what a great idea. And it turns out that was actually one of the ideas that they had, but they didn't go with that. They went with this one. And it was the year before, Keanu took off he won the Oscar for the other.
If he had obtained the Oscar beforehand, history would be different.
we might have had an entertaining Indiana Jones movie where they wouldn't have had to de-age Harrison Ford.
Yeah, they after the third one. That's where I fell off. I was done after the third one. 1989, summer of '89, June.
Well, they didn't need to keep going with it. Definitely,
they didn't. I mean, even the other one, I forget what it was titled. I think that was in 2000.
Crystal Skull.
That was 2007, 2008.
Yeah, it didn't leave me crestfallen. It was. I knew it wasn't as good as the others, but I thought, whatever.
But the last one was I wanted to jump out a window after watching that. I mean, it was.
Oh, you really? Oh, so you disliked it too?
Oh my God, that was such a depressing film. I mean, where he's in a tenement. I mean, he's in New York City. I mean, at the end, and it's just like it's like, what did you do
Yeah.
to Indiana Jones?
Well, you know how they try to, you have to make him an underdog, and
horrible.
I know, but it was just an awful movie on every level, though. Yeah. Even the music was not good. Sorry, John. He wrote one good theme for it, but I didn't, you know, it was not.
I don't know. They that was a missed opportunity. But
yeah, definitely.
I digress again. We digress.
I know, but let's do it.
Oh, you want to do what you call it on the show?
We still have to do our top 10 most hated movies.
So much for balance. So there goes the balance for us. Ross balance right out the window.
I'm working on my list, Roy. There are only 10 slots.
Know the power of the dark side.
I have to work at it because there are only 10 slots.
Oh boy. Anyway, George A. Romero.
There he is.
There he is.
Yeah, he's best known, of course, for the zombie film. He's the guy that made the zombies cool. Before Night of the Living Dead, you really didn't get that many zombie movies. You got like I Walked with a Zombie, the Val Lewton movie, or you got White Zombie with Bela Lugosi, but they were all Haitian. They weren't hungering for brains.
Hungry for brains.
Yeah, he's kind of the one that brought it up, and he modernized the zombies, and then there's no looking back.
Zombies are cool now.
Yeah, have we reached the oversaturation point with zombies? I guess we have, but they're still dominating.
What movie I enjoy? I mean, Shari and I saw it years ago, and I think what year did it come out? I think it came out in 2008. And it was Zombieland. What a fantastic movie. Woody Harrelson. I
still haven't seen that. Yeah.
It's so good. It's entertaining. It's funny. The story, I mean, it really, and then they did a second one, which wasn't bad, but the first was the best. If you haven't seen it, you definitely have to check it out. It's really good. Brendan said, I love his early works. The Crazies, Martin, Dawn of the Dead. Yes.
Yeah. Definitely. It's like that with all of these filmmakers. It seems like the early movies are the better ones, but plus it's the era. Sure. It was he was kind of a rogue force that kind of emerged from Pittsburgh. He wasn't a Hollywood guy.
No,
he's more of a counter culture figure in his way.
Dawn of the Dead, was that the one that was filmed at the mall?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but they remade it, and it was also filmed at the mall. But instead of the zombies moving slowly, they moved very quickly. But yeah, the original one I thought was a really good movie.
Yeah,
it was kind of the Empire Strikes Back of zombie movies.
There you go. I remember when they were advertising that in the one of the early Starlog magazines, and I really
remember you go to the State Theater, and every time you were there, they were showing trailers for Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead, yeah.
The Shining.
Yeah, it was 78, right? 78, 79 was in that time frame.
Yeah, it was a 78, I think, maybe.
Yeah, I think The Shining was... Oh, wait a minute. The Shining was 1980, I think.
Yeah, but 78, I just remember being pretty scared by the trailers. Because I was young.
I think Dawn of the Dead was probably 78, I'm going to guess. 79.
There's no more room in hell. The dead shall walk the earth. George A. Romero presents Dawn of the Dead.
Say, yeah, the remake was in 2004. The original Dawn of the Dead was in 78.
Yeah, what makes that movie so good? I love when they kind of mix genres. I mean, it is a horror movie, but it's also like kind of a comic, social commentary movie. But it's also an adventure film, and so you get all this. You get the horror, you get the humor. And you get the adventure all in one movie. And I got a rush from that. I like that.
Brennan said, unfortunately, now it is practically impossible to watch the original Dawn due to the rights issues.
Really? Is it like not available anymore?
I don't know.
That would be horrible because that's the best of them. Yeah. I mean, I didn't watch Beyond the Day of the Dead. I didn't see the other. I think he did 2 more after that, or maybe 3 more after that. But I didn't follow him.
If that is true, that is a shame, though.
It is a shame. because I think I don't know if it's his best movie, but it was like I say, it's kind of the Empire Strikes Back of zombie movies, because you have Night of the Living Dead, which is very good, but he manages to take it even further. Takes the same thing but take it further in the second one and have it be very satisfying. Yeah. Yeah, and then Day of the Dead kind of is a step down. You're back down to like 2.5 star movie from 4-star Dawn of the Dead.
You regressed.
Yeah, I haven't watched it for many years. Maybe I'd watch it now and not think as highly of it, but I thought it was very good. And Martin is the other one he mentioned. And
Martin. Now, which one is that, Ross?
He's the one where he's kind of like a vampire, but he doesn't have the teeth. He feeds on blood, but he's another Pittsburgh centered horror movie. Okay. I haven't seen it for many years. Oh, he did Night Riders. It has nothing to do with the TV series, but Ed Harris, where it was not a horror movie. They were a traveling band of like medieval times guys, and they would joust on motorcycles. They'd be in full armor and they would joust on motorcycles. And that's the first thing I ever saw Ed Harris in. I remember. Yeah, it was before this. It was right before this movie, right before Creepshow.
What was the other movie that he was pretty? Oh, the Truman Show. Remember that one?
Truman Show. Yeah. But I mean, Ed Harris. I'd already seen him in.
Yeah.
After The Right Stuff, he was in tons of stuff. Yeah.
The Rock. He did The Rock.
Excuse me, The Rock. Right. Oh, Night Riders is free on Prime. All right, we should have a viewing party.
Yay. Brennan said, "Yeah, it's out of print."
Ah. Wow. Why didn't I scoop that up when I could have?
Missed opportunity.
This is why you have to hang on to your physical media.
Absolutely.
You think you don't need it because everything's available, and then it's gone.
Yeah.
A bunch of movies like that.
Randy said he loved that movie, Sad Ending. Stephen King and his wife have cameos in Night Riders. Oh, cool.
Yeah, a lot of the people that were working on this, the composer was actually in Night Riders. I think he played Pellinor.
John Harrison?
Yeah. So, because this guy was like a jack of all trades. He was a drama major. So he did a lot of theater and he appeared in Romero movies. And he had his own film company for a little bit called Image Works. They primarily did commercials, but they did a feature at a point. And that's what got him kind of the assistant director gig on this movie. Oh, did you know that? The composer was also the assistant director on Creepshow.
I did not know that. I did not.
Yeah. So essentially, he just kind of hung out and did whatever George Romero told him to do.
Like you said, a jack of all trades.
Jack of all trades. He worked as assistant director on this and on Day of the Dead, and provided the scores for both movies. So I can't quite get a beat on this guy because he is a musician.
Right.
He had his own band called was it Homebrew was the name of his band, and they played around Pittsburgh and also toured. And they got involved with this blues guitarist named Roy Buchanan. Maybe you know who he is. I'm not familiar, but they toured with him for 4 years. Wow. So they had extensive experience playing in concerts. But primarily he was involved with acting and with film and television. He went back and got his master's degree and went to film school. And not out in California. It was all like Carnegie Mellon. It was all Pittsburgh area. Right. Yeah, for a time he had gone away to study acting, and I guess he was up in Emerson College in Boston. But then he came back and got his master's in Pittsburgh. Now he also, as I said, he directed himself. So he did the Dune miniseries that was out in 2000. He was the writer director on that. So, but that's all I know. I don't really know about his training or anything. It seems like he was, a hands-on guy. Like right. He knew. But the thing with this movie, it's hard to attribute exactly what's his, because Paul and I were listening to the commentary track on the film, and apparently Romero liked to use a lot of library tracks, that were in the bank of the studio, that were used in a lot of different productions. So that was kind of mixed in with his original stuff. So it wasn't all his stuff, but some of the stuff he did write for this movie was reused in Grindhouse, the Quentin Tarantino, Robert Rodriguez movie.
Yep.
And for Stranger Things, they used it in one of the seasons. At least one of the.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. So he got referenced in a few other, quoted in a few other things that came after, even if nobody knows maybe who he is. Maybe they would pick it out from having heard it in Creepshow. So that's all I got.
No, thanks, Ross.
Yeah.
When I heard about him, I had not heard of him. I didn't know who you know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't know either until I noticed that he was also the assistant director. It's like, wait a minute. These guys were all coming out of out of the system, and they were making these movies. Obviously they would just get stuff done. So yeah, they would all wear a lot of hats and figure out how to do things. It's like, we need some music. Hey, I can play the guitar, or I know how to play a synthesizer. Can you write us a score?
But what's cool about that, though, is it's somebody that's readily available, and it's just like pulling your resources. So it's which is
right.
It's pretty cool. So anyway,
so it's like if I shot a movie, I'd say, hey Roy, why don't you do the score?
My reaction to you would be, Ross, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
So anyway, hey, Dennis Chevalier's out there. Dennis, welcome. He said, hi, sorry I'm late, just got home. Don't worry about it. It's okay. We're starting to wind down.
Yeah.
But it's all good.
It's all good. Are we creeped out?
Yeah, we're creeping out. Brennan said, I heard that it is hard to see Cocoon. I've heard about Cocoon as well.
Oh, that's true. I tried to call it up. It's been a couple of years now. I tried to find it. I couldn't believe it. It's like, Cocoon? Not available anywhere. Yeah. What a world.
That's a bummer.
I can't even go back and watch Northern Exposure TV shows because they went and changed all the songs in the show because of rights issues. It's like, I'm not going to go back and watch that if they change the music. It's got to be how you remember it.
Years ago, with the videotape release of one of the Star Trek, well, actually not one of the Star Trek episodes, it was City on the Edge of Forever. Now, this is 1985. This is when Trek was what? You're talking like 18 years. I mean, it went off in 69, so it would literally would have been 16 years old. But City on the Edge of Forever, when Kirk is walking with Edith Keeler on Earth in the past, and they're playing Goodnight, Sweetheart, in the background, they had to change that song to another song because of a rights issue. I know. It was crazy.
It must have been the recording, because I think the song would have been, in public domain.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly. And then there was like a notation on the box and then what happened was with the later releases, they had the rights. But
because I thought it was a not written for the show. It was an old song.
Yeah. Gavin just commented. He said, "This is why pirating is on the rise. Studios are their own worst enemy. Without content, and people will find it themselves."
Yeah.
It's true.
Well, like the guys that keep reconstructing the Star Wars movies. Every time George Lucas makes a change, he got this guerrilla group of rebels that just go back all the original sources and make the movie exactly the way it was, and give it away for free on the internet.
The Hague said they actually edited the Odd Couple DVDs because they didn't want to pay for rights to some episodes. Well,
that's always sickening when that happens. You don't think that would ever happen, when you're watching these things.
Nope, time moves on, and there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I understand artists should be compensated, and people,
absolutely,
should get some, but they, I don't know. It's like when everybody holds their ground, or they say, "I just don't want to pay you," and why should we pay you what we owe you if we can just cut it out and take all the money for ourselves? For the 5 people who are going to want the DVD. Yeah. All right. Good night.
Anyway, folks, we're going to start to wind down. So if any last minute comments, please post them out. I'm going to go to our shout outs really quickly. I want to give a shout out to our friends Mike and Mary Beth for Sci-Fi Distilled. They're on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. They're going to be covering, I'm pretty sure they're going to be covering the Galileo Kickstarter, and I'll get into that as well too. We're going to be also doing that next Friday as well. But so definitely tune into Mike and Mary Beth. That's on Sci-Fi Distilled Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, I'll talk more about the Kickstarter, but they're going to be giving a discussion about it, because that is going to be winding down on the 15th of March. And I want to give a shout out to my friend Bill Scarrato at Countrygate Players. Countrygate is back. They're going to be doing their first show of the season, which is April 19th and also April 25th and 26th. And that is going to be The Miracle Worker. And if you are in the Belvedere, New Jersey area, definitely check it out. The website for Countrygate is www.countrygate.org. Also, Bill has a website in which you can track things that he's doing, and that is www.billscarrato.com. And actually, Countrygate is doing a acting workshop, and I'm happy to say I actually signed up for that. And in fact, that's why I couldn't get together with Ross and Paul this Wednesday. It's always a timing issue with things, but I had such a good time, and Bill is great. He's a great mentor. He's a great teacher. And not that I haven't been doing acting for a while. I mean, I've been doing it forever. My God, I did not, just fun stuff in high school, and then community theater with Countrygate since 1989. Shari's been doing it since 79. But it's, you know what? It's really cool to learn different things, and there's always something to learn. So it's really good. And it was definitely fun to have. So anyway, definitely check out Countrygate. Lots of good stuff coming down the pike, especially throughout the year. And again, The Miracle Worker, if you're in the area, definitely check it out. It's going to be an awesome show. Now, Land the Shuttlecraft Galileo Kickstarter. The Kickstarter is in effect, and they are actually up to 543 backers. The original goal was $100,000. The stretch goals were at 150, 200, and 250, and it is at 223,977. David Harvey and Brian Mix have really been the heart of this, making sure that this took off, and it's going to be pretty amazing. So anyway, we will be talking more about that a little later. But if you have your opportunity to check it out, it's Project Galileo, and if you're a fan of the original Star Trek television series, this is the shuttlecraft from the series, and it is up in Ticonderoga, New York, and it is going to have a wonderful home up there. So definitely, if you can contribute to that, please do so, and check out the website for that, and I will post that shortly. And also in regards to Star Trek Original Series Set Tour, which is in Ticonderoga, William Shatner returns June 25th to the 28th. The website address is www.startrektour.com. This is the 60th anniversary of Star Trek, folks, and it is being celebrated up, throughout the country. But what's really cool is it's going to be up in Ticonderoga, New York. If you've never been there, you definitely want to check it out. There's going to be a lot of cool guests up there, as well as William Shatner. And I'm very much looking forward to being there, volunteering. And we'll definitely talk more about that at a later time, but just wanted to put the dates out there for you to check out. And the celebration for the landing of the shuttlecraft Galileo will be September 19, 2026. So just mark your calendars for that weekend. And also, our friends of John Kenneth Muir at Abnormal Fixation. Abnormal Fixation Season 2 has premiered, and it is actually the second season. 4th episode was released this past Wednesday, March 4th, and it is entitled Bounce Rate. You definitely want to check the show out. It is a lot of fun. John is great. The cast is amazing, and I can't say enough about the show, and I always go on about the show, but it is a web series that if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. You will not be disappointed. So I just want to direct folks to check out Abnormal Fixation. And Sherry and I actually have to catch this next episode. And the one thing about this show, when I'm watching it, my biggest disappointment is when it ends, because I get so into it, and then it's like, oh, I gotta wait another week for the next episode, and it's just like, because it's really, really entertaining. I can't say much about it. John is going to be on the show too, and I'll come back to that in a moment as well. Captain Phil's Planet, WUSB 90.1 FM, Stony Brook, New York. My friend Captain Phil is on Thursdays from 4 to 5 p.m. and he's also on Fridays at 11:30 p.m. except on the fourth Friday of each month. So definitely check out Captain Phil. And also, my friend Warren and I have been doing this episode of Space 1999. We've been going through all the episodes. We just completed episode number 6, The Tabor, which was released last week on Sunday, March 1st. And you can check it out. We've been critiquing all the episodes. We did the first season, and we've been through the first 6. And we're going to be taking a break for the month of March, but we will be back in April. There's going to be some cool stuff going on in regards to Space 1999 as well, which I'll talk about later. And Manchester 1999, The Last Sunset, is the convention that will be taking place in Manchester, England, September 11th, 12th, and 13th. Website address is www.space199950years.com. Scheduled guests are Nick Tate, Anton Phillips, Carolyn Seymour, and also Suzanne Heimer-Peterson. There will be other folks there as well, but definitely check that out if you're interested in attending the convention. And also a shout out to my son, Ryan. He has his website, Run by Ryan, Empower Your Run. He's an online run coaching service provider. You can check out his website. It is free. There is no charge for checking out the website or going to the website. It is www.runbyryan.com. However, if you would like to basically sign up, and there are different levels, that is what has a cost incurred with it. But in regards to just going to the website, again, there's no charge in that. And Ryan is very passionate. If you need coaching, definitely checking him out. He can definitely help you with your running. He's amazing. And Ross, if you can let everybody know what you've got going on.
It's 9:01, Roy.
We're almost there, Ross. I went through those pretty fast. Go ahead.
Should I just leave the studio? All right, these are the 3 recorded shows I've got. Picture Perfect just ended, so you won't be able to hear that. I just ended up with music from Lion in Winter by John Barry, the Peter O'Toole, Katharine Hepburn movie. It was part of an hour of film set in the Middle Ages. But that's over now. Sweetness and Lights, the light music show. That's tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock Eastern Time. And The Lost Chord is Unusual and Neglected Repertoire, Unusual and Neglected Classical Music. And that's tomorrow night at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Both of those shows this weekend are connected in some way to Women's History Month. They're all female composers. So tomorrow night I'll have some music by Vyacheslava Koprolova, who's a Czech composer, and Dame Ethel Smythe, an English composer. And Sweetness and Light will be a potpourri of lighter music tomorrow morning. I do that on Saturday mornings. They're heard on KWAX, and you got the URL there. I promote them on my Facebook page at Classic Ross Amico. If you're curious, I'll write about them tomorrow morning at that site. So I hope you follow the page. Thank you.
Thanks,
That's all
Ross.
I got, Roy. Bedtime.
All righty. So just to let everybody know, I will be back this Sunday, and it will be episode 295, and it's going to be the Golden Age Hollywood show that I will be covering with my very special guest, and it is child actress Mimi Gibson. She will be joining to talk about this event that's going to be taking place March 28th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Again, it's the Golden Age Hollywood show, and she's going to be talking all about it, and we're going to be promoting it. And it is, again, going to be this Sunday, March 8th. Now, it's not going to be at 7 p.m. We will be on at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time because we are turning the clocks ahead 1 hour. So, again, this Sunday, March 8th, not at 7, which we're usually on, but at 8 p.m. So we got that planned. And then also for next week, episode 296 It's going to be a special episode. We're going to have a special crossover episode with Mike and Mary Beth from Sci-Fi Distilled. They're going to be on with myself and also two other special guests, David Harvey and Brian Mix, who I was just talking about before, in regards to the shuttle Project Galileo shuttlecraft Kickstarter that's going on. So what we're going to do is we're going to break the episode down into two parts. The first part is going to be talking about the episode Metamorphosis, which is very it's pertinent to the discussion because this is the second episode from classic Star Trek, which actually had the Galileo shuttlecraft featured in it, if you don't count the shuttlecraft that was utilized in the Menagerie Part 1, because that was not the Galileo. That was a Starbase shuttlecraft. And again, the second part of the show, we will be talking about Project Galileo. So again, David Harvey and Brian Mix will be joining with Mike and Mary Beth with me to discuss this. It's going to be a packed 2 hours, and we're going to be talking a lot about Star Trek. So with that, so looking forward to that, and that will be next Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And it's a wrap, Ross. I think that's about it. Shari said, "Great show, and thanks for making her work night go fast," because she was working and she was listening to us.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that we did something nice for somebody.
Thanks, Graham, too. So, and Paul commented real quickly. He said, they did have a big limited edition collector set of Dawn of the Dead a few years ago, but it cost more than I wanted to pay. It'll probably just turn up on limited boutique labels from now on."
Yeah.
And the Hague said, "All that stuff taped off of TV back in the 80s is gold now, just for reasons like companies editing DVDs these days." Mm-hmm. Yeah, very true, John. Very true. Mm-hmm. So I think I caught up with everybody. You too, Dennis. Thanks for joining. I want to thank everybody that joined us tonight. And again, I'm sorry we started a little late. Like I said, I was having some tech issues. Of course, we have that happen all the time. And thanks, Lou. Much appreciated. And this was a fun movie. It was good to revisit. And I hope everyone will join me on Sunday to have me Gibson on, and we'll talk about the Golden Age of Hollywood too. Any last words, Ross? No?
Nope.
Okay.
I had something to say, but I forgot.
Sorry.
I want my cake.
Me too. Anyway, thanks again, guys. Thanks, everyone. And live long and prosper. And see you on Sunday.
Have a good weekend.